My first guest is best known from the films Reservoir Dogs, Armageddon, and Big Daddy. He was also a New York City fireman for 4 years, and for the last 7 weeks, he's been helping out in the relief efforts. So let's give a huge welcome to Steve Buscemi. How have you been?
I've been good.
Yeah? You know, that's, it was, you know, first thing after the attack happened in September, it was the next day. You decided, I used to be a fireman, and you still had the outfit, isn't that right?
I still had my helmet and my turnout coat in my office, you know, in my house, hanging up on a hook, and never thought I would ever use it again. But the next day, I took it with me to the firehouse. I used to work at Engine 55 on Broome Street, and I couldn't get any information, you know, on the 11th, so I just went down there the next day. But I thought I should bring this stuff just in case I do get in there. And I was brought in, found my guys, and was able to work with them. And I was only down at the site for like 4 days, but
that's still, I mean, that I remember hearing from somebody that you were down there that used to be a fireman. I thought, I never knew that. You've been on the show a bunch of times. I think a lot of us were, you know, were surprised and thought that that was a very cool thing that you did.
Well, thank you. It was a very cool thing that you did coming to Worcester for the Dennis Leary celebrity hockey game that raises money for firefighters there and for here, too.
Dennis Leary has a hockey game every year to raise money for firefighters, and then this year, of course, he set out the call, and he called me up, and so I said, okay, I'll be there. I get there, and I didn't know what I was going to do. Right. And I don't know if you knew what you were going to do.
I knew I wasn't going to play, that's for sure.
Right. I brought roller skates, and no, I thought, well, maybe there's, you know, they're just going to have celebrities playing in this hockey game, and then it turned out it was like a small handful of celebrities playing, but actually it was real hockey stars playing.
Right.
They were smashing up, you know, like the celebrities that were foolish enough to get in there.
Right.
You know, people out there like David Hasselhoff. This will be fun. Whang! You know. He wasn't there. I just like saying his name. Now, I was made a coach. You were a coach, too. I was an assistant coach.
Right. Me too.
To Boston Bruins great hockey, Bobby Orr. Right. I was his assistant coach. You were a coach.
I was the assistant coach to Elizabeth Hurley. Another great hockey expert.
Yeah, I think we were all wishing that we were on your side of the bench. Was that fun? Did you have a good time?
It was. I mean, I, you know, didn't know what I was doing. I had my video camera. You know, we were in the box, like right behind the players, and I know I was supposed to be saying things like, you know, get out there and, you know, do something, but I didn't know what to say. I just was videotaping like, wow, this is fun.
I was just standing behind all these hockey greats, and I was just saying things like, you've got a rash on your neck, you know. You've got dandruff. I mean, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do either.
Sometimes I would say, hey, what's the score, you know?
Right. I took a nap.
The scoreboard's right there, you know.
My favorite thing is they called us all out onto the ice, you know, to introduce us at the beginning, and the hockey players look so cool because they say, you know, they say, here's Phil Esposito, and he would come skating out, and it looks so cool, and then they would say, and Conan O'Brien, and I'm wearing shoes, and I would walk out onto the ice, and you're like, you know, you have this really weird walk so that you don't fall, and everyone thinks, oh, you know, he's retarded, you know. Now, when you were a fireman, and you know, back in the day when you were a fireman, and you came to them one day and said, you know what, I'm thinking of trying acting. Were they receptive to the idea?
I had already been doing acting, but wasn't telling them. And then somebody from another firehouse, Dean Tulipaine, who was also an actor, he busted me one day. He asked me where I lived, and I said in the East Village. And he says, well, what do you do? You're a dancer, you're an artist, you're an actor, what? He just knew that if you lived in the East Village, you did something other than firefighting. And so once my company found out that I was an actor and also a comic, because those were back in the days when I used to do stand-up, they would make me get up at all the fireman parties and do an act. And so I used to just do like a Don Rickles on them and just make fun of all of them. And they loved it. And one day we were at a bar, my friend's bar, Mike McGrath, and I was doing my shtick, you know, making fun of the guys. This was in the early 80s, and I had like a punk haircut and a Ramones t-shirt on.
I think we all did,
yeah.
You know. Tom Brokaw looked like that in the early 80s.
So I'm doing on the guys, and then I noticed that there were other firefighters there from Brooklyn. So I said, oh, let me welcome the Brooklyn guys. Hey, how you doing? You know, and I'm doing that shtick, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny then either.
No, we were just respectfully quiet while you were telling your story.
So one of the Brooklyn firefighters didn't know that I was a firefighter, and he just went, who's this guy? You know, and he grabbed me and threw me off the chair, and he was going to beat the crap out of me. And then my guys jumped in, and there was almost a brawl between the Manhattan guys and the Brooklyn guys.
Right.
Until they convinced this guy that I was, in fact, a firefighter.
You were a firefighter, and it was okay.
Yeah.
Did they rip your mohawk or anything? Are you okay?
They ripped my Ramones T-shirt, which I was thrilled about.
Which is supposed to be ripped.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you.
It didn't come pre-ripped.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Well, this is. I mean, it's you've been doing this work downtown, and then you have this other world, which is you've been in some movies that are coming out right now, and you're promoting them. It's a bit of an odd transition, but this is what you do for a living. And you tell us about these. You have 2 movies, right?
There's one
an animated
Disney Pixar film coming out called Monsters Incorporated, and I play a lizard-type monster with. Actually, I think this character was inspired by something that you showed on your show once. You did you showed a picture of me before plastic surgery.
Oh, let's take a look at this. I think, do we have this? That's you from the movie.
That's me. That's how I look in the movie, yeah.
And then let's see you before. This is what we did on the show, I don't know, like a year or so ago. Oh, there you go. That's nice. We got you a movie.
I have you
we
to
got
thank
you a
for
movie
that role.
part. What are you talking about?
I know. I'm thanking you.
I think that's very nice that we did that for you. You owe me 50%. And then this other one, Domestic Disturbance. Tell us about that
with John
movie.
Travolta and Vince Vaughn. I play Vince's old partner in crime, and I get out of prison, and I show up in the town where he's now living, where he's sort of remade himself into a solid citizen.
He's posing as a good family man.
He's posing as a good family guy who's married to John's ex-wife, Terry Polo, and they have a child, and he's the stepfather now to John's child. And I'm the guy who's going to threaten to blow his cover if I don't get my money.
We have a clip here. Do we need to know anything besides what you just said?
I don't think so.
Excellent. Let's take a look at this clip from Domestic Disturbance.
You lost?
Relax, it's around here somewhere. Let me just look at the map, all right? Map's in here. It's gotta be here somewhere.
Come on, I got a flight to catch.
Look in the back for the map.
I don't see no map.
Well, it's in here somewhere. You see it?
Hope we're not giving anything away.
We're giving things away. No, we didn't give away what happens to your character.
Of course,
your character was just really surprised.
I was surprised. I then beat up Vince Vaughn
yeah,
right after that scene.
And then you fly
the rest
away.
Of the movie's about me.
Because you have superpowers. Domestic Disturbance and Monsters Incorporated are going to be in theaters this Friday. And Steve, thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you very
really
much.
good to have you here. Steve Buscemi, Jenna Marie Huff coming up. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.